Hey everyone, Spicy Toast Gaming here. Hope you're having a great day. Hope this video can make it a little bit better for you. Today we'll be showing off our 6-star Evelyn that we were recently able to get. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Starting off with the Constellation, just to give a little bit of a refresher, just in case anyone doesn't really know what she does. So up first, let's go to your 3-star. When you level up an allied champion, so it could be your Evelyn or someone else, grant allies everywhere 2/2. Now this is really great for Evelyn because she can level up multiple times. Love Eternal, +1 starting mana. The first time you kill an allied follower each round, create a fleeting copy of it in hand. Now, if you used to old Evelyn, this is a little bit changed. Now it's only your allied units. It's not the enemy units as well, so you can't really copy enemy units anymore. But to be honest, you pretty rarely ever did that. The big thing this is going to allow you to do is essentially copy a husk after you kill it, because when a unit is consuming a husk, it counts as killing it. So this lets you play essentially more husks. That's like what you're doing with this like 90% of the time. Then we have your 4-star, the Biggle Dust Sprinkle. So when you summon a created ally, grant it 1/1. This is again primarily just going to be your husks. Mana flow, get an extra mana gem. And then Knight's Kiss right here. I'll quickly hop off or get my camera out of the way. When an allied husk grants stats to an ally, it grants double the amount. So this is the 6-star, and this is very good for you because it's, for one, doubling your effect of your Biggle Dust Sprinkle, because that alone is giving your husk an extra 1/1, which means when another unit consumes it, it's going to get another 1/1, so essentially 2/2. But also your husks and your other units are both benefiting from this. So all of your units everywhere are getting 2/2. But then if they consume a husk that also has 2/2, they're now getting 4/4. So essentially you're compounding buffs on top of buffs. So you're able to just get absolutely massive units with this one. Now let's go over some of the bonus stars. So 200 gold, great. Support champs have bonded bucklers, so you can give another unit some keywords. We have Last Caress has the Chalice of Harmony. Now this is Evelyn's champion spell, so getting this down to a 1 cost is really, really good. And Last Caress is a very good champion spell. So it stops all enemy skills and spells that are targeting Evelyn, and it's fast speed, so you can use this to react to pretty much whatever the enemy's trying to do, as long as it's not burst. And then this also lets Evelyn strike the enemy. So you can use this as a defensive for Evelyn, keep her on the board, keep her safe, or you can also use it as a bit of removal. Great flexibility, love to see that. And 3 cost reduction means you either paying this for 1 mana, or you're paying it for nothing, especially if you have like Echoing Spirit. Star of Discovery, follows require have Great Club. Overwhelm, fantastic. Hate Spike gets a little bit more damage. That's fine, you generally don't want to use this unless it's like a last resort, but more damage makes that a little bit better. And then all the rest here are just some of the gemstone ones. Now for the build we're going to be trying to go with, it's Black Shield just to protect our units. Pretty much the biggest counter to Evelyn is if the enemy is able to kill your husks, especially early. And so we just want to keep that from happening, and we are a very unit focused deck, so protecting all of our units is really good and kind of shoring up our main weakness. Siren's Call, now this is Evelyn's Relics. You can only get this if you could buy the Evelyn bundle, which I don't even think is available anymore, so you'll have to wait until it's in the Emporium or when the Glory store shop gets added. But power, game start, create an Evelyn in hand, so solving your biggest weakness of not drawing Evelyn. Then when you summon a husk, it loses immobile, so normally your husks can't attack or block. This removes that, so you can actually use your husks as units, which can be quite nice for a little bit of extra damage or kind of a blocker if you need it. And then I'm going for the Tempest Blade. When I level up, stun all enemies. Really good. You can get Evelyn to level up every single round. This just gives you a massive amount of control. Now, this is solid if you don't have her relic though. Echoing is a fantastic alternative. You get a bunch more copies of Evelyn, so you're very likely to draw her at the start of the game, still fixing kind of your biggest weakness of not drawing her. And then your champion spells cost 1 less. If you have the Constellation upgrade that makes your champion spell cost 3 less, you're now able to play it for free. So even if you don't have her relic, this is a fantastic alternative. Definitely go with that, and you should be good to go. Now for this one, we're going to try to play her in a normal adventure, so not in the event, because then you get all the bonus mana and all of your units kind of have extra items on them. So I think here we'll just take her up against Fiddlesticks, since that's generally the toughest content currently in the game. But if you do want to see me playing Evelyn up against the 6-star Elder Dragon, I have that up over on my stream. Link to that channel in the description down below. But let's jump into it here. All right, here we are against the 6-star Fiddlesticks. Let's see what we can get for a power here. Stabilize, when you summon a champion, summon an exact ephemeral copy of it. This can be good and bad. Like another Evelyn can be solid, can be a very large unit. One thing we didn't mention with Evelyn is the limit on how many times she can level is how many times you've had allies die this game. So you want to somewhat limit deaths as much as possible. So an extra Evelyn can give us some more upfront damage, which can be okay, but it also can have the downside of having another death, and it's also summoning another husk. It's a bit interesting. Normally it's not what I would necessarily recommend, but up against Fiddlesticks can be a little rough. It's good to be able to kind of front load your damage and end as fast as possible. So it'll be a little bit of a high risk, high reward, but we'll try to go for it. It could backfire though, so don't always choose this one. Often it's one you actually want to avoid, but we'll try to make it work here. All right, up first, Sleepless Slumber. Let's try to go for it. Alrighty, let's see. So we know we're gonna draw our Evelyn. Having Steam right away is pretty nice. Yeah, I think this is solid. We got a couple of our Husk units. This will be good. All right, so let's go ahead and drop our Domination first. And we're just gonna pass. We don't want our units to die. We have a Husk on the board. That's fine. Now, we could drop our Evelyn right now. We probably will. One downside is the extra copy of her will die at the end of the round, and we don't have the attack token, but it should still give us some good scale and give us an extra Husk. So here she levels. So she's given another Husk, but she is going to die. Now, if they had another unit right there, we can use this ephemeral copy as a blocker, so we don't have to waste any of our other units. Now, we could have blocked with our other Evelyn. So it is one extra unit that's dying, which is going to limit our level ups, but we should be able to kind of end before we actually were to run out. I think here, let's go for... we could wait for them to play one more unit. We could try to pass. I don't want to risk it, though. Let's go for Steam. So he's getting like 12-12 from these stats. But then again, that's doubled. So he's an over 30 character. Let's go ahead and get our Scout Attack off. And then GG. We only have one blocker. Not enough. Everyone else is stunned. All right, that went pretty well, and that's kind of what we're going to be looking for, is trying to get her on the board in our second, second round, most likely, and hopefully ending the round after. Let's see. Play me, kill an ally. Not a huge fan of that. Flow, summon a Dragon Lane. I don't really like any of these. I think we'll go for this one, but we might honestly cut it. Kind of, you don't want that many units outside of Evelyn's like starting deck. So support champion everything. Not a huge fan of. Viego could be decent. Like, we are having units die naturally. We could probably level them up pretty fast. We can play them for free. Some of these units aren't really the best, but I mean, yeah, I think we will actually end up going here. Let's check and see what these guys have. Yeah, Viego can be fine. Let's see. Solitary Monk. I do like cutting cards, but we could also do that here. I think let's try to go for Shadow in the Brush. Let's see. Holding on to him is pretty good. We'll reroll these two. We like having another one of our Husk generating units. So dropping this first, we're just trying to set up and prepare to drop our Evelyn next round. So they're developing, but we'll drop our Evelyn, and then she will just stun their whole board. Now, this is the Evelyn that got created from our Relic. So we didn't actually draw Evelyn, but again, didn't really matter because we're making one every round, or well, at the start of the game, that is. All right, so we pretty much just completely shut down their aggression. And we have 3 Husks ready to go now. So yeah, I think again, we'll go for Steam. And this should be pretty good. None of these have Overwhelm though, so that's a little sad. But we'll still go for it.
This is my domain, Steam. Please.
Nah, I think I'll stay.
Playtime. Don't waste my time.
Alright, so that's just getting eaten by Spell Shield. Let's go ahead. Well, I was going to say we'll just get our Scout Attack off, but I think let's try to attack with everyone before they can play any blockers. Alright, still enough. GG. All right, let's see here. Quick attack, not bad. Kill you and then revive it. Don't really like that. Kill an ally. Yeah, I think we'll go for Void Lane. Nice that this is cheap. Having a free attack, this will give us some good damage if we need it. Let's go for the Solitary Monk and might kill Eye of the Dragon. We also don't really like the Soldier too much. Yeah, I think let's get rid of this one here. We want to refine our deck down as much as possible because, again, Evelyn, you really just want to focus on her Husk cards. So unless you pick up other good Husk cards, you don't really care. All right, let's go for the Dread. Let's see. Let's get rid of Hydrovine. We're probably never going to play it. Let's get rid of Soldier. You can hold on to the other two. Okay, good. We almost didn't draw one of our Husk generating cards. But again, Evelyn is pretty formulaic. You generally kind of play the same. So like, can't be a little bit boring for people, but she is very consistent. Again, we're just trying to set up for Evelyn, so we're just passing. Although, oh, their open attack isn't the great. So their ability is a kill, not a obliterate. So yeah, that unit's just gone, sadly. All right, so we could drop our Evelyn, and yeah, she will be able to level. But that was a lot of damage.
See what's beneath my life.
But yeah, we need her to level so she can start scaling up all of our units.
Back on the prowl.
All right, so we don't have our Steam anymore. We do have our Last Caress. We could use one of them here. I think we might. So I think we'll use... Actually, she doesn't have the ability to strike anyone. I mean, we could still play it so that they would play something. Because one thing you might want to do is kind of wait for them to play some cards so that when your stun goes off, it's hitting more units. Let's see. I think let's drop this guy right here. We need to get more units on the board and kind of get a really big attack here to try to end. Because we're going to kind of run out of level ups here. We're already at 6 out of 6. All right, that's popping everyone's spell shield. Let's drop our Husk right here. So that's going to be a massive Husk. But again, these stats, when we give it to another unit, it's going to get doubled. Let's play our Warden's Prey right here. So we still have mana for our Last Caress. All right, all these units have Overwhelm. We have more than enough damage. So we could use this to kill their unit and get rid of the blocker, but we're already ending, so it's fine. GG. All right, let's see. Lumino Sprite, that could be fun. Give my support ally my positive keywords this round. Yeah, I think let's go ahead and grab this one. Let's go for the shop, see if we can get something decent. Encroaching Mist. I think we will buy one copy of this just so that when we summon other Encroaching Mists, they're going to get this Overwhelm and Spirit. If we summon any Encroaching Mists, but I think we'll only get one for the items, and we won't really care about the others. Yeah, I don't think any of this really matters. This can be nice because if this hits one of our Husks, it's then going to kind of have twice the effectiveness. Not really worth re-rolling, I don't think. Let's go here for Healer. And let's get rid of, yeah, the Soldier. Probably never going to want to play it. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of that. And time for Elise. Get rid of an Encroaching Mist. I think we'll actually hold on to the Hydrovine. Like, for one, we have a Husk unit. We know we're going to get our Evelyn. But in case this game drags out longer, it'd be nice to have some of these units. One bad thing is they really like to open attack. So yeah, we'll open with this guy. But this is the one fight that's really bad if you're Evelyn. Because yeah, they fill up their board, they attack. We'll pass, but this is probably going to be rough. Because we just didn't have the mana to play your turn one. Alright, so they didn't actually open attacks. We can drop our Evelyn, stun their entire board. That's actually excellent for us. This is why I really like the Tempest Blade. the amount of control you get with it is just fantastic. All right, that is fine. Let's actually go here. If this one can level down, it'll give us another husk.
Let's keep going.
Oh, I guess it took up room, so this one couldn't make a husk. All right. Do we want to go for Siren's Call? I think we might. The good thing about this is it's buffing up all of our husks. It's giving a husk, but also kind of the most important, it's passing priority over to them, so they have to try to spend some of their mana. All right, perfect. So they just blew pretty much all their mana. They don't have enough to play either of these. So now when we drop our Warden's Prey and we stun their whole board, they probably won't have the mana to redevelop their board. Also, just look how massive this unit's gonna get. Fine. We don't quite have enough damage. So we're gonna try to drop our husk right here. And since we have her relic, we can actually attack with it. So it's just giving us a little bit extra damage. It's not generally something you want to be using a lot because you want to keep your husks alive. But if you have opportunities like this where you could attack, then yeah, go for it. GG. All right, so Ante Up would let us play her turn 1. So that could be good. Sure, let's go ahead and go for that, because then we could have our Evelyn on the board, and then we could actually attack with both of our Evelyns, which would give us some more damage. And just kind of jumpstart our scaling. We know we're going to draw her turn 1, so we just really need to get a 1-cost unit that we can play alongside her. Because now she's going to be giving us the husks, but then we need another unit to consume them so that she levels. Explosive Finale, we're not killing that many. Allied buffs except barrier are permanent. I think almost all of our buffs, like this one would now be permanent. But pretty much all of our buffs are permanent as is. So I think let's do a reroll. Game starts, summon 2 husks. Okay. That's going to be... that's going to be very interesting. So potentially we would drop Evelyn, she'll be able to level since there's husks already on the board. Well, I guess that's problem solved. Okay, that's... should be really, really good. I don't really like Survive the Night. It's not really fun, the fact you just have to... you can't damage the enemy nexus, you just have to kind of wait it out. So for most people, it's pretty boring unless you're like a control deck. So I think let's go here. I mean, we could control them pretty well, but let's go for the Pale Death. Alrighty, let's see. Let's get rid of these 2. So I think the husks are going to be not... yeah, they're not the ones that go with our Coven skin. So we'll be able to drop Evelyn now.
I'm always ready to play. What happened to you? Mind if I slip into something?
Now, the one bad thing is we're going to run out of level ups very fast because we're just killing so many units, but I think it's probably still going to be worth it. So here, we could go for a Last Caress to stop this, which would preserve our spell shield, so that's not terrible, but they are out of spells. And we could use our Enraged Husk right here. I think we'll let it go through still. Although I also kind of didn't realize it's going to give them 2 units, which isn't the best for us. So probably actually should have stopped it, didn't think about that. Alright, so we now have a Husk that is massive. Gave us the spell shield back, although I think that one will actually just be for the round. Alright, so we could attack like this. I think we'll actually keep this Evelyn back, though, so she can de-level before she dies to give us more husks. And yeah, they'll be able to block. I guess we have Fearsome on 1. So yeah, I think both of these Evelyns will give us husks. Nope, still just 1. Alright, interesting. Alright, so we're pretty much going to be out of level ups very fast. Who do we want to go for? I think let's go for another Vora, because we're already out of husks. Might as well just kind of go with it. This would be a good showcase of how well we can do even without leveling up multiple times. See, our spell shield keeps going away, but the good thing is when we consume a husk, then Evelyn still gets those keywords. I think let's go for a Void Lane. It'll be a really big attacker, and then we're going to stun other units so they won't be able to block. So yeah, this one Void Lane almost soloed them.
I love it when they scream.
Alright, we have all that Overwhelm. Let's go ahead and kill that unit just to kind of reduce the damage we're taking on our Nexus.
You're almost there.
Alright. GG. So that round, I think we were only able to level like twice, and yet we still were able to get this absolutely massive scaling, so that's pretty good. I think let's try to get some more copies of the Void Lane. Like you saw right there, it's really nice to just be able to drop a cheap unit that's scaled up so heavily, it's just absolutely annihilating them. Yeah, we probably don't want to spend all of our mana for this. This is gonna be good. Alright, shop or epic spell. I think let's go for the shop. So 1 cost, drain 2 from 2 enemies. That's fine, but it's not really that impactful. Like, it's not really gonna be able to kill most things at this level. I think we'd rather just have more impactful units. Explosive Finale, again, we aren't killing many enemies. So, like, we're trying to control them for the most part. I don't think we get that much value out of this. So let's try to do a reroll. Summon a sparring student. Sure, I think this can be fine. It can further be a unit on the board that can scale up. That being said, it is probably just going to die relatively easily. I think we will try to go for it. All right, let's go for Sickening Plunge. One good thing with Evelyn is even small units she can make very big with her just board wide or scaling for everywhere. So could give us some extra damage. I think let's actually hold on to this. This is okay. Alright, so I know they have some recalls, but we do have Spell Shield. I think, yeah, let's just open up with dropping Evelyn. We could try to pass, play something. I don't really want to risk it, because then all of our Evelyns would also get discarded, which we really don't want to have happen.
Ooh, another plate? Mind if I slip into something a little more painful?
So yeah, like, Sparring Student's already an 8/8. Alright, what are they trying to do? Alright, they're summoning 2 units. Which, yeah, isn't the best for us. But I think let's try to just go full-on damage. So dropping another Husk to get both these buffs, which dropping a Husk into a Husk can be so powerful because they're now getting double the effects of the other Husks, which make them huge, and then the next unit we drop is getting double those buffs. So again, you're just like stacking buffs on top of buffs and like multiplying them, making them even better. Let's go ahead and attack like this. Most are elusive. We'll get some decent damage down here. Alright, they didn't want to block.
That's it. Back on the prowl. I ought to finish you off.
Alright, so yeah, if we drop our Siren Song, we won't be able to get a stun off. So I think let's go... We could go for a Lumino Sprite. I think let's actually go for Domination, just so we get even more Husks next round.
Oh, my sweet.
Because she'll generate one, and then Evelyn will generate one when she D-levels.
At least at the start.
Well, actually, she won't D-level. That's fine. Let's drop this one right here. Yeah, they're all stunned, so they can't really do anything. Although she still generates one, yeah. So I do love when I can play Siren Song. It is hard to fill it in. Like, since we don't have a 1-cost unit, we kind of can't. Lumino Sprite is nice, but I think let's go for Steam for the Scout.
This is my domain, Steam. Leave.
Also, yeah, we're not getting our level up anymore regardless. Yeah, let's go for our Scout attack, and this should just end the game. GG. I'm always trying to prepare for like so much or like maximize damage when quite often it's like, oh, we're just ending. It's not even needed. Duran Sculpture isn't terrible. We could Could be useful to try to get out big enemy targets. I think we'll try to go the greedier route and go for Lumino Sprite, but this could be actually pretty solid. Captures, especially Iceborne, where it's in not a spell or a skill, it just like goes off, is very good. Hey, look, Iceborne. If we didn't have Stabilize, so we were going to get like 2 Evelyns, that one's going to die at the end of the round, we would go for this. I think let's actually go for Overwhelm. Nice to just make sure she has it. All right, let's see. Item chest. Regen. This is okay, but doesn't actually matter that much. I think let's do a reroll. Okay, having a Voidling, this is actually, that's very nice. Making sure we have that unit. And what do we want to cut? I mean, we're probably never getting to the point of playing Hydrovine, but if we do get to that point, being able to drop that for free is going to be pretty big. Yeah, we have our normal cards. Honestly, I feel like Luminous Sprite's one that we don't really need. I think let's actually get rid of Ceaseless Sentry. I think that's probably the most useless that we have. I mean, hopefully we're not going to need it. Let's go for Fiddlesticks. All right, let's see here. Double Voidling's interesting. I think let's get rid of the Warden's Prey, but I'm actually fine with 2 of these. Having our Salter, I think that's how you say that, pretty good. Yeah, this will be solid. All right, so we still have 2 copies of Evelyn. Nice. Again, you could try to pass here to make the enemy play something, so your stun would be a little bit more impactful, but we're a little bit wary of that, so we're gonna play our Evelyn, and like, we're playing it safe here. We've taken a lot of other risky choices, but with this, we want to try to play it safe. But if you're a little bit more worried about winning, it's not bad to open pass, because normally the enemy, especially in these higher encounters, normally they'll play something, but right here they didn't want to play anything. All right. So we could go for a Fading Husk. I think we will actually try to do this. They might drop a blocker, but it shouldn't matter too much. Again, we're just trying to kind of push damage. Oh, they do actually have an elusive. I was like, oh, they won't have an elusive. All right, we'll go ahead and attack like this. They'll probably block this here, reducing down the damage a good amount, but still pretty solid. So yeah, we're only going to have 1 level up left, but it should be a pretty good one.
Let's keep going.
Okay, that's fine. It's just hitting Spell Shield. So I'm a little bit worried about them attacking right here, so let's drop a Voidling. It will consume these husks, getting absolutely massive. It'll start a free attack, and then Evelyn will stun their whole board. So yeah, this is going to be our last level up, because we've definitely been going for more of a greedy build, where we're doing a lot of deaths early. Let's go for Fading Husk. Honestly, we could drop another Voidling. Would be a decent amount of damage. I think, though, let's drop this one right here. He'll make a Husk. That's not great. Yeah, that's not great. But we have this massive unit, so it's fine. So we got 1 Husk. Evelyn will drop another one. So now, when we drop our Voidling right here, this is going to do a good amount of damage. Again, we don't have that much level up scaling, but this should be pretty good. They don't have any elusives. GG. All right, that was a lot of fun. As you saw, Evelyn was very strong, and we were going for a very aggressive build where we were having a lot of units dying, and we weren't relying on our level ups as much, which is quite nice. I know previously for Evelyn, you really were trying to maximize your Evelyns to get as much scaling as you possibly could. Here, you get enough damage that even against like the 6.5 Fiddlesticks, we will end quite fast. Even with just 2 level ups, we still had absolutely insane scaling. So it is nice that you're not kind of held back as much and just waiting for your Evelyn to slowly scale up. And it does actually kind of move your focus just from your Evelyn scaling to your husks, which is quite nice. So it is influencing how you're playing a little bit, and especially if you have her relic, it's nice you make sure you're going to draw her, and then you can use them as attackers or blockers if you need to. Now I will say Evelyn is definitely a pretty formulaic champion, and that pretty much every match, like you saw right there, pretty much all turned out kind of the exact same. That is one thing to be aware of, is she can be pretty repetitive in that sense, but definitely very strong 6-star. If you like having absolutely massive units and getting a whole bunch of keywords, then she is fantastic. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, a like and subscribe is always appreciated, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.